all over again. 2 for newfound glory for you. Caller 10. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
It's not every day you hear him complain about something. Wait, yes it is.
Alan Cox.
On 100.7 WMMS.
Jerry Cantrell already in town. He's opening that Bush show tomorrow night at Jacobs Pavilion. But he's singing the national anthem tonight. Cubs are in town, take on the Guardians. Jerry Cantrell and Zach Throne. I don't know who that is. Maybe that's someone local. Maybe that's somebody in his band. I don't know. Jerry Cantrell singing the national anthem at the Guardians game tonight. Susan Tedeschi, who's in town with her band and her husband, Derek Trucks. She's doing God Bless America. And then all three of them will throw out the ceremonial first pitch.
That Darren's like a truck.
Why do they call it a ceremonial first pitch?
Because it's not the actual first pitch.
Yeah, but
it's not like
they're not wearing a uniform.
Game.
We know that they're not.
Yeah, but it's a ceremonial pitch.
Yeah. If they said throwing out the first pitch, that would mean they get to go out and throw out a pitch to an actual batter.
That's what it would mean?
Yes, that's the first pitch of the game. The ceremonial first pitch is not included in the game.
Well, why didn't they start including it in the game?
Dude, have you seen that
meme? To the contract.
That meme where it says, forget celebrities throwing out the first pitch. I want to see celebrities throw out the last pitch, where it's like bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, tied up 7-7. Here comes Danny DeVito. And I'm like, that would be hilarious. It would change the game of baseball.
Oh, it'd be great.
Yeah.
You thought all those other rules changes were wild. Hey, everybody. It's this is the game.
The game-ending
Game deciding pitch. MGK tomorrow night. And comedian Jeff Dye throwing out the first pitch tomorrow night.
Is he in town?
He is in town.
Like doing a show, I mean.
He is doing
He's
a
in
show.
town to do the first pitch, and then he added, because he's in town, he's doing some shows at Hilarities.
So anyway, 6:40 tonight is when you're going to get Guardians baseball here on the Buzzard. We'll get you right into it. And you can also listen to it on the iHeartRadio app if you're so inclined. I don't know if you saw the story about the woman who died at O'Hare Airport.
Mm-mm.
She got tangled up in a baggage handling machine, which seems strange. I don't know how you'd find your way back there. This was a woman in her 50s, a 57-year-old woman, who was found entangled in a baggage conveyor belt at O'Hare on Friday, I believe. And they determined that it was a suicide, that she hanged herself by getting caught up in the baggage conveyor belt. I don't know how they arrived at that. I'm not a medical examiner, but that was the determination that they came to.
She doesn't work for the airport?
Doesn't work for the airport. They went through the surveillance cameras and found the woman entering the area around 2 a.m, but it didn't show what happened to her. This is obviously one of these rooms that you're not supposed to go into if you're part of the public. It's for people who work there, baggage handlers and such. And they found her the next morning entangled in the belt near the international terminal. And they determined that it was a suicide.
That's weird.
It's amazing the lengths that some people will go to once they've decided they don't want to live anymore. You know, we've all kind of contemplated that, you know. If you're somebody, I don't know if you guys have ever said aloud that you've contemplated suicide.
Yeah,
not seriously.
I have.
I've never gotten to that point. I'm not somebody who's
ready to jump off a building.
Okay. I assume that was maybe back in the Mormon days, right?
Yes, in the Mormon days, my lowest point, I wanted to kill myself because of God's love.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. You wanted to be awash in his eternal light.
Well, you
just wanted to get there.
I just didn't feel any hope to ever actually be what I was being told I could be or should be. and it was incredibly depressing. So when people talk about God and Jesus and how it helps them, it's the exact opposite for me. The further I got away from that stuff, the better I felt about myself.
How tall was the building?
Like 8 stories.
See, that's one of the things I'm talking about. The decision to say, I don't want to be in this anymore, and this is how I'm going to do it. Because it is the last decision you'll ever make.
Right.
Provided that you're successful. And so I don't know what it says, if anything, about the choice you make if you're going to take your life. Jumping off a building to me always seemed like the second after you do it, you go, I've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah, probably.
And there's literally nothing you can do about it.
There's that documentary.
And you definitely don't want to not die.
Yeah. Well, there's a documentary about people jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge.
The bridge.
Yeah, the bridge is the name of the documentary. And there's a guy that did survive.
Yeah.
And he was able to tell his story about how as soon as he left, he's like, this is not, I regret this.
Of
I
course.
should have done this. It was, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
How could you not?
Right.
See, but her doing this at an airport, usually suicides are premeditated. That's not, I mean, you know, every case is different, but that's usually something people prepare for. Write notes and think about it for a long time. They're usually depressed for a while, which would mean that she specifically plotted it around this trip to do this. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't even know if she was on a trip.
Or did she work there?
No, she doesn't work there.
It didn't say that she worked
into
there.
The baggage claim area and was like, "This is. I'm going to do it at the O'Hare Airport." That's not. It just doesn't.
I thought it was weird
Check
too.
out.
I thought it was weird too, but I have to imagine that the determination the medical examiner made, they would know what would constitute this. You know, they'd be able to look at the body and go, "Well, nobody did this to her," or I don't know. So they ruled it a suicide.
She had nothing in her body, no drugs or alcohol or anything like that.
Didn't say anything about that.
Because that would make more sense to me if she was all messed up and then went crawling through the baggage claim like a Chuck E. Cheese tube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like high on meth or something and got stuck. But for this to be an intentional way to kill yourself?
Right.
I don't know about that.
Well, and again, people are explaining the mechanics of it to me. I'm not talking about the mechanics. I know how those machines work. I'm talking about that being your choice. You know, she could have stayed at home and, you know, thrown a belt over the shower curtain rod or something or kicked out a stool. She could have done that. She didn't. She went into the conveyor machine and let that thing squeeze the life out of her. But, you know, some people, they try pills. My girlfriend in college hanged herself. The choice that you make just from a purely philosophical standpoint, I guess, is very interesting to me.
I always said that if I had to do it, or if it came to that, which it hasn't, I would probably go the pill route, where I would.
I think I'd be a real pussy if I.
Take a ton of sleeping pills and then just go to bed forever.
But
you know?
also, and again, I have no other than again my girlfriend. I have no experience with it directly,
and neither do I.
In myself. But so my question is, if you're kind of babying yourself, do you really want to do it?
Well, I don't think it necessarily has to be painful. Whatever it is going to end in your death. I don't think it really matters how you do it.
Theoretically.
And
plenty of people who live. And you don't want that. You don't want to be alive and infirmed. You know, some people smoke a shotgun.
See, that I couldn't do.
There was a young man, Bill, perhaps you've heard of him. His name was Curtis Cobain.
You know what, though? Now that you say that, maybe that is a sign that I've never taken it as seriously as other people, because in my head I'm like, if I decide to, you know, gun in the mouth and I miss, I am messed up for the rest of my life.
Right. There's
But
people who have
if
done
I
that. They
take
put
all
a
the
pistol in their mouth and it bounces off the roof of their mouth and they have one eye and they can't hear and woof.
Well, and so I'm like, well, if I take a bunch of pills and it doesn't take for whatever reason, I get my stomach pumped and I stay in a psych ward for a little while. But that whole mentality of even thinking, what if this doesn't take, is probably like, means you don't want to do it that bad anyway.
Yeah. Well, Bill, we're collectively glad you didn't jump.
Me too.
Yeah. all right, let me give you this trip here. There's a transition.
Don't read the text because I know there's gonna be someone like, oh, I wish I would have dropped.
Let's get you into an airport and then on a plane and
Safely.
then in Vegas where you're gonna have a high old time with a pal at our iHeartRadio Music Festival next month. It's mere weeks away. It's the 20th and 21st of September. Black Crowes and Hosier and all kinds of acts at the T-Mobile Arena there. So it's $1,000 and everything that goes with it so that you have a good time. So listen closely and good luck.
Now your chance at $1,000 and a trip to our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword FESTIVAL to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's FESTIVAL to 200-200. WMMS.
Press release, somebody told me, said she wasn't an airport employee. Maybe she was an airline employee. She could have just walked in. There are ways to walk into an airport, you know.
You can walk into the baggage level. You can't walk into the gates.
Right.
But the baggage is after security.
This was 2 a.m, by the way. There's even massive airports, there's a lot of counters with no one there. You can walk right across those counters and climb into where they throw the bags.
Well, what I'm saying is like in Cleveland, right? The arrivals and departures are on different floors. So if you wanted to walk in the arrivals downstairs where the baggage is, you could just go in backwards. Go in the little hole where the bags come out of.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Follow it up the other way.
Yeah, this was the international terminal at O'Hare. So Alan's suicide is very rarely premeditated. Usually that decision is made with a snap judgment.
Wait, those sentences contradict each other. Say that again?
This is what somebody texted me. Suicide is very rarely premeditated. Usually that decision is made with a snap judgment. So it's not planned out.
See, I don't have enough experience on the topic, but I assumed it was someone feeling bad for a long time or a while or something.
I'm sure there are people.
I think
happens.
when you actually take the step to do it, it's like, all right, fine, I'm doing it now.
I'm doing it right now today.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I guess I took it as premeditated means you've thought about it before. I don't know that anybody has never thought about suicide and then one day they're like, yeah, I'm going to kill myself today.
Right.
Like that's what I meant by premeditated.
Today's the day.
That it's something that you've thought about.
Yeah.
Would sperm news make you feel better?
I don't feel bad right now. Like I said,
he's glad to be alive.
That was a long time ago, and I feel much better by getting away from all the stuff that was making me so sad.
If Bill had jumped off that building, he never would have met a young woman named Kendre Sunderland. Remember Kendre Sunderland?
Yeah.
This was the girl. We had her on the show many, many years ago after she went viral. This was the girl who was she masturbating or having sex in the library?
She was like masturbating and showing her boobs and stuff.
She was library girl for a while. This was at Oregon State University. And we had her on the show, and I think her like meth head boyfriend was with her at the time, or whatever dude was able to put up with her for me. And she was nice enough, but she was adamant about the fact that she was going to, however her viral fame lasted, that would be it, and she'd move on to something else. Adamant about the fact that she would never do pornography. Of course, we scoffed at her.
2 weeks later.
About 48 hours later, she's online and she's doing porn. And again,
hey, people can change.
There's no shame in that. I was just surprised why she was going down that road when the natural progression of that kind of viral fame is pornography.
But it also might have been she had to keep saying that for them to offer her money to get, to make it worth her while.
Well, it was about 10 years ago. I think she was only 20 years old. I mean, she was in college.
Mm-hmm.
She was at Oregon State University. And she has been busted in Texas on a felony drug charge.
Which is
hard to believe she didn't turn things around.
Yeah, but this is like weed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
is Texas.
It's Texas. This is a stupid charge.
Yeah. She was 50 miles north of Houston, Texas.
This doesn't mean she needs to turn her life around. She's got weed in Texas. That really
great song from Wasp.
Yeah.
can have an assault rifle where you could take out tens of people at a time, but don't you dare. Don't you have one little
Don't you have abortion or a pot?
Yeah, no pot or abortions. She lives in Vegas. Her mugshot, she looks the way you think she would look. Displeased. Kind of a scowl, right? Like, this is so stupid, just like you said. And so anyway, she went viral online about a decade back and then started doing lots of porn. She was charged with public indecency at the time. They fined her $1,000. She obviously made that money back many times over. She has her own signature model fleshlight. I always thought it was funny that people had a signature model, anything like that. You know, if you went to the porn...
It's like getting a sneaker if you're a basketball player.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
If you went to the porn stores back in the day, they would be able to sell you, like, whoever the porn star du jour was. You know, you could buy, like, her molded torso. Mm-hmm. No head, no legs. Just like, hey, it's like you're really banging Jenna Jameson. And her face was on the box. Cost you a few $100. Kendre Sunderland noted recently, if you follow her on Instagram, you probably saw her noting the 9th anniversary of the Library Girl video. She said, the day that changed my life forever. But, of course, you can go online and see her getting railed by all manner of guys. And I say God bless her. You know, 10 years hence, almost 30, which is ancient in porn years. That's when you start doing MILF porn, when you're 30. And still doing it. Living in Vegas and having a high old time. Hopefully this is just a detour. They didn't mention what she was doing in Texas. But she's driving her 2013 Lexus and got pulled over. I think she'll be fine.
Oh, that's a big load.
Right. I've got a break here. If you want to send me a text, 35192, you can watch